The law of Moses, the Demiurge, and the revelation of God in Christ. John 1:17-18. The law given through Elohim. The law, as recorded in the Pentateuch, was not directly given by God the Father, but was ordained through the agency of angels, also referred to as Elohim. This is evident from multiple scriptural testimonies. Stephen, in his defense before the Sanhedrin, affirms, who have received the law by the disposition of angels, and have not kept it. Acts 7:53. The Greek word for disposition is diatagas, signifying ordinance or arrangement. This demonstrates that the law was mediated through angels, not given directly by the Father. The Apostle Paul reinforces this understanding. Why then the law? It was added because of transgressions, until the offspring should come to whom the promise had been made, and it was put in place through angels by an intermediary. Galatians 3:19, ESV. The reference to angels in the giving of the law aligns with Moses' own account of encountering an angel in the burning bush. And the angel of Yahweh appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. Exodus 3:2. This angel, speaking in the name of God, acted as an intermediary, just as the Elohim mediated the giving of the law. Hebrews further affirms, for if the word spoken by angels was steadfast, and every transgression and disobedience received a just recompense of reward. Hebrews 2:2. These verses establish that the law was delivered through angelic beings, not by the Father directly. Ptolemy's interpretation of the law. The early Christian teacher Ptolemy offers a significant interpretation of the law's nature. He rejects the views of both the Jewish tradition, which attributes the law to the perfect God, and the Marcionites, who claim that it was given by a malevolent being. Instead, he presents a more nuanced view. For it is evident that the law was not ordained by the perfect God the Father, for it is secondary, being imperfect and in need of completion by another, containing commandments alien to the nature and thought of such a God. Letter to Flora. He further divides the law into three parts. 1. The law of God, true commandments given by the deity himself. 2. The law of Moses, commandments given by Moses from his own reasoning. 3. The traditions of the elders, human commandments interwoven into the law. Jesus confirms this division in his disputes with the Pharisees. Because of your hard-heartedness, Moses permitted a man to divorce his wife. From the beginning it was not so. Matthew 19:8. Jesus contrasts the original divine intention with Moses' accommodation. Additionally, he rebukes the traditions of the elders. You have nullified the law of God through the tradition of your elders. Matthew 15:6. This distinction aligns with Ptolemy's claim that the law, while containing divine elements, is not wholly from the Father, but mediated through Elohim and shaped by human traditions. If the law was mediated by angels, also called Elohim in the Hebrew Scriptures, Psalm 82:1-6, and if the Demiurge is identified as the intermediary who gave the law, then it follows logically that the Elohim are the Demiurge. Ptolemy's interpretation clarifies that the law was neither from the perfect Father nor from an evil being, but from an intermediary power, the Demiurge, who is distinct from both. Since multiple scriptural passages affirm that angels, or Elohim, were responsible for delivering the law, Acts 7:53, Galatians 3:19, Hebrews 2:2, they collectively fulfill the role of the Demiurge. This does not mean they are malevolent, but rather that they function as intermediaries, governing the present age until Christ, the true revelation of the Father, inaugurates the world to come. Hebrews 2:5. Therefore, the Elohim, as celestial rulers and administrators of the law, are rightly understood as the Demiurge, the architect of the material order and its legal structures. The revelation of the deity in Christ. The law, being mediated through angels and imperfect in its final form, stands in contrast to the ultimate revelation of the deity in Christ. John declares, "For the law was given through Moses, but grace and truth came through Jesus Christ." John 1:17. While Moses received the law through angelic mediation, Jesus reveals the Father directly. No one hath seen God at any time, an only begotten God, the one existing within the bosom of the Father, he hath interpreted him. John 1:18, Rotherham. Moses did not see the Father, but saw the Elohim. When Moses asked to see the Elohim's glory, he was only permitted to see a limited manifestation through an intermediary. And I will take away my hand, and thou shalt see my back, but my face shall not be seen. Exodus 33:23. Jesus, the Logos made flesh, fully reveals the Father. All things have been delivered to me by my Father, and no one fully knows the Son but the Father. Neither does anyone fully know the Father but the Son, and anyone to whom the Son is willing to reveal him. Matthew 11:27. Jesus is the exegete of the Father. The Greek term exegeomai means to declare, interpret, from which we derive exegesis. Christ, by his life, death, and resurrection, fully expounds the nature of God, surpassing the limited revelation given through the law. The intermediate role of the Demiurge. Ptolemy, recognizing that the law was neither from the Father nor from an evil being, identifies the Demiurge as its author. For if the law was not ordained by the perfect God himself, as we have already taught you, nor by the devil, a statement one cannot possibly make, the legislator must be someone other than these two. In fact, he is the Demiurge and maker of this universe and everything in it. And because he is essentially different from these two and is between them, he is rightly given the name intermediate. Letter to Flora. This aligns with the concept that the angels, as intermediaries, administered the law. The present age is subjected to these celestial rulers. For unto the angels hath he not put in subjection the world to come. Hebrews 2:5. This indicates that the coming age, under Christ's rule, will no longer be governed by these intermediaries. Conclusion. The law was mediated by angels, Elohim, and structured through Moses, but it was incomplete. Ptolemy's division clarifies its nature, distinguishing divine precepts from human additions. Jesus Christ, the Logos, surpasses this mediated revelation by fully revealing the Father. As John declares, and of his fullness we have all received, and grace for grace. John 1:16. Thus, while the law served its purpose, the fullness of divine truth is found only in Christ.